Hey everybody, a quick update on snow talk here as we cover the snow showers. Of course, we had a lot of problems this morning that black ice that formed from those snow showers. Washington County schools closed today, Nelson County on a 2-hour delay, and some other schools delayed outside of our area and southeast areas of Kentucky there. We still have more snow showers we're tracking here, even at this hour. Now, the wind is helping out and drying out most of the roads, so most areas are fine, but where the snow comes down, below freezing, you know the story. You get some slick spots, and we've had several crashes, even within Jefferson County this morning, several crashes that were blamed on ice that took place because you see that road a little shiny. If you're not slowing down, you'll hit that and spin out of control. The ramps to the interstates, the freeways, are usually more at risk for something like that because they're a bit elevated, of course. All right, so this is going to wind down. This is still part of the backside of the upper low, moving through the eastern part of the Great Lakes and the Ohio Valley. We're going to get more and more of the drier air to work its way in, so it'll take, I would say, until at least lunch to really get the radar to calm down, and then we'll get more and more actually sun breaks to develop, and then we should go mostly clear for tonight before we head into tomorrow's setup, which involves a warm front moving our way. So here's Futurecast. You see this afternoon, we'll thin out the clouds. Temperatures struggling today to get to that 40-degree mark. Wind chills likely in the 20s all day long, so it's a cold winter day. Tonight mainly clear. It's going to be an even colder night tonight, but at least we don't have to worry about the snow showers tonight. Tomorrow, we'll cloud up and warm up. We do have a warm front that'll be draped kind of like this by Friday afternoon. And you see the result. Look at Paducah, 57 degrees tomorrow afternoon, while 42 in towards Cincinnati. Louisville kind of in the middle of the 40s. It's right where that boundary is going to be, right in through here, that we'll run into the potential for some rain and snow to begin to break out. So where exactly that boundary is and how much moisture really is available at that time for Friday evening is still a bit up in the air. We will have some dry air to overcome. Our dew points are dropping today, so we'll see how much of the what we call the evaporative cooling will be wasted on the precipitation before it reaches the ground. But I think enough is there that we need to keep an eye on precipitation breaking out Friday evening. I say precipitation because of the idea we do have a low dew point around. The evaporative cooling will cool the atmosphere down. You get some snow to form. And this is going to be a wet, slushy kind of snow. I don't see it's going all the way down to the freezing mark. So this is all going to be grassy areas, elevated objects briefly, and roads slushy. But the rate does look impressive enough that I think we could be talking about an inch or two of snow that could fall in some spots. So we'll continue to fine-tune this map. But what I want you to get from is not exactly the placement, the exact placement, but the shape of it as far as how it's at an angle, and it'll be a fairly narrow band that we're talking about here for Friday evening. So make sure to watch Wait Through News today starting at 5 with Kevin Harnett. He'll let you know what the midday data trends are showing for this. It's not going to be a big snow, but with us being above freezing, but at least want to mention it so no one panics when they see the big flakes fall in some areas tomorrow night. Even some of the latest high-res models, the WRF model, in fact, coming in with the potential of that heavier band, more southeast areas of Louisville, very little in our area, so it's a little more south and east where it places where that will begin to pop tomorrow, and that's still possible. So don't get too upset if you're not included in the map in future updates. All right, now the thing is, we're still tracking the system for Sunday into Monday. That low is still forecast to drop down. Now the models are starting to agree a little more. We're getting a little more sampling, so the path across the border there, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia is looking a little more likely as we into Sunday. That's where a lot of the rain is going to fall, and some of that could be locally heavy. Now, I don't think the model is done yet on locking in on this track, but I don't think we're going to see much more of a wavering go on north or south, although even further north would take the band of rain a little more to 64 on Sunday. Now, the thing with the low, though, is the piece of energy that comes down to Canada we're talking about. When that combines with this, allows for it to deepen a little more. That's when we get the band of snow that forms on the northwest side of that, and that's what we have to watch for. It'll be a changeover to snow to take place. When you look at all the different models in their ensembles, here's a GFS, its ensemble, here's Euro, its ensemble, and the Canadian, and its ensemble. When you look at this for Sunday, I know it's very hard to read. They basically agree on the position at low. Euro is a little bit more south than GFS. In fact, keeps Kentucky mainly dry for the whole thing. The Canadian, not too far away from the Euro. Its ensembles, though, are a little more lined up with that border of Mississippi and Tennessee. And then the rain-snow line kind of goes right across the Ohio River. So, again, there's going to be some waffling going on between now and the next 24 hours, but at least we're starting to see somewhat of a locking in of the track here across Tennessee for it to move through, and there will be just a band of snow. When you look at the ensembles on snowfall, GFS still aims it toward eastern Kentucky, and I think that's a good spot. There could be some, what we call the deformation band of the comet head of the low, that could extend along 64 into Louisville. That's possible Sunday night. But right now, I think eastern Kentucky stands a greater potential with that based on the timing of the two systems kind of coming together over the Appalachians and the Smoky Mountains. When you look at the Euro, which I didn't load correctly, but the Euro is very similar. It has it basically right in through here, and it does hint a little bit of an I-64 snowfall. So it's not going to be a lot of snow that's forecast to come down, but it could cause some problems with travel if the timing's just right. So there's your heads up there for the Sunday, Monday event, and hopefully it keeps trending south, and maybe we can squeeze the entire weekend on a dry note. That would be nice. We need one again. Looking down the road, here is the PNA on the Euro. Anytime you go positive, you're going to get colder in the eastern part of the country. That's going to take us through this weekend and early next week. In fact, through about this time next week, very little warming will take place. We may get a couple 50-degree days coming our way this weekend, but overall, it's a colder pattern, colder than normal. Now, we start to see the PNA go back negative, though, late next week into the first day of spring on the 20th. That is when I do see it surging quickly from daily highs in the 40s, maybe some more snow showers next week, by the way. But I would say next Thursday or Friday, we will start to see a dramatic rise into the 60s, likely even 70 or higher, with rain and thunderstorms, but I do see it's dropping again. How much of a drop? Hard to say. It'll happen before March is over with, but we will likely get back to a cooler than normal pattern. Could it get back to snow? No one knows that, but I can tell you that this warm spell late next week does look to be brief at least. That's not unheard of. We do not normally get locked in on warm weather, by the way, until at least Derby week, if not just after. You remember Oaks Day last year, right? Okay, perfect example of that. So we got a lot of ups and downs to go, guys. That is spring here in Wave Country, so hang on tight.